Okay, welcome back. Are we suitably refreshed? Oh, that was rubbish. Try that again. Are we suitably refreshed? Yeah. Oh, look at that. I feel like I'm in Butlins. So this is the part of the evening where, if you haven't been to one before, we normally do lightning talks. Hands up if you know what a lightning talk is. Fantastic. I don't have to explain lightning talks. Does anyone want to do a lightning talk tonight? Let's try that again. Does anyone want to do a lightning talk tonight? No. Okay. So was that a yes? No? Oh, Simon's going to do one anyway. Okay, so what we might do then after Simon's session is do a bit of a Q&A. But Simon's going to pose some questions now anyway, because Simon wants to talk about engagement.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Okay, so really this isn't a talk, although I'm talking, so kind of undone that already. What I was interested in, probably about a month ago, was collecting some data on how people interact with us as a group. So before I go into some of that data, which you can probably see behind me now, I'd be interested to know, just by a show of hands, in terms of how people found out about this group, how many people found out by word of mouth? Wow. Okay. Ken, you can't put your hand up for that. Okay. How many people found out through either Twitter or via Meetup, just by searching for various things that are going on?
Social media, mate.
Social media. Okay, that's good. Okay, and how many people consider this as a group which is based around these physical meetups? So is that what you think it is? Is that what you want out of this group? So you can say yes to the second question after the first one. So is it about these physical meetups, which is what drives your interest in being part of it? So yes from John. Who would want more? So who would want... Okay, go on. Another one there. Sorry, I hadn't finished the sentence, but I haven't told you what that more is yet. So as an example of more, that more being having a... So an example of more would be that you could pose and ask questions on a sort of continually running conversational basis, whether that be via Twitter or by some method of a forum. Who would want that? We got some demand there, so we might have. Oh, Claire would like that. Okay, and inversely, who would want via those mediums such as Twitter? Who would want us to be posting more in terms of articles, blogs, points of interest? Okay, so right, that's quite good. So we've got some demand there for different ways of interacting. So I'll talk you through what we've got there in terms of some metrics on the board. So yeah, as I said, about a month ago, just went through and plugged in Google Analytics into some of our key sites. So we've got a meetup.com page and center for the group where you sign up for the sessions such as tonight. We've also got a Twitter account. Who knows about our Twitter account? Who's following our Twitter account? Okay, well it says there we've actually got 117 followers. Okay, and that's increased a little bit even over the course of this evening, so that's a subtle improvement. And you can probably tell from the bottom bits there that we've had some mentions, and that's gone up sharply during the session tonight. And we've also had some retweets, which again has gone up sharply over the session tonight. So from that, I can see that there's some engagement, but considering I know that there's at least 380 people in our meetup group, it's probably not what we'd like if we want to have a good ongoing conversation. Really, this is down to you guys. If we want to get a conversation that's going on either social media or on the conversations through meetup.com, it's really about you guys asking the questions, either posting them on Twitter or posting them on the meetup group, and then we can just check back on these figures every couple of months or even once every half a year and work out what's working or not. If you've got ideas about how we could promote, maybe it's your blog post or a blog post that you're particularly keen on, or a paper that you found interesting and helped you in what you're doing, then do contact us, and that means usually Claire, because Claire's the hub of everything that happens with the Northwest Tester Gathering, and I'm sure you all know her. And we'll try out some of these things. So it's really down to you what we do to drive these numbers, and you can tell I'm going all products only right now, because it's all about driving numbers rather than actually doing some testing. But this is real testing. This is testing with trying new ideas, setting up some experiments to how we could change those numbers to improve our experience for you as a group. Okay, so if that seems like a good idea, we'll plan on, we'll do that. There's one bit on here which I don't think we can quite see. I can just feel my pocket going. That means that someone may well even be tweeting right now.
It's on the wrong screen, isn't it? Sorry.
All right, okay. I'm just trying to get over to what's possibly on the right-hand side from a scrolling point of view.
There you go. It should now all be one screen, so it's...
Can you just scroll over to the right-hand side there, Richard?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Brilliant. Okay, so the bit on the right-hand side, which is probably the most interesting from my point of view, is the blog that we have. Anyone know that we have a blog? Show of hands again. All right, just a few of us do. So what we do on events like tonight, we always have a blog post which summarises the evening. If there's any materials, any photos, or anything that comes from what we do, we post them on a blog as an entry. And that also gives you a way to comment on the evening and how it worked for you or didn't, which you can also do via the meetup group, but it's just a way of seeing that sort of continuous material going through. At the moment, we've got incredibly low engagement levels, so we've had in the last month probably 40 visitors to that page or to that site. So there's obviously a lot more that we can do to try and build content for that blog, and also for people to engage with it. Okay, so like I said, it wasn't really a talk, it was really just a, can you help us see what we can do with these figures and adjust them so we can build this to be the community outside the actual physical meetup. Okay, so this was really a test, just to show you that anybody can really stand up here and babble on for about 5 minutes or so and get away with it, hopefully. So, it's relatively simple, and it might not feel like the night tonight that you really want to actually get up and say anything about what's important to you. But next time, it may well be. So just use this as an encouragement to think about it. Okay, yeah, we got actual numbers are changing and mentions are going as we stand up here. Yeah, cheers, Paul, for that. Thanks very much.
Just a quick question.
Yep.
I noticed you do actually have a LinkedIn page and a Facebook page.
That's correct.
You don't seem to make any use of them.
That's right. So they're there. I mean, what's the demand? I mean, there's no reason why we can't try to put some content via those mediums.
Most of us like being testers, working for various companies. A lot of us use LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite maybe probably a more a better forum or a better place to put stuff maybe than Facebook. I don't know. I just thought you might get more of a tester community within LinkedIn. Yeah,
I know certainly from a Facebook perspective, some people like to separate that out for their own sort of private discussions and social groups. So LinkedIn would be an appropriate place to do it. We have got the stuff set up in there already, so no reason why we can't try that as well and track what we're doing there.
Is there anything though that companies that we're working for can get them to share what goes and stuff like that? I think it's something that our company can do.
Absolutely. So, you know, the only thing that really drives an active discussion is good content to place in any particular areas. So, yeah, as much as you feel like you can contribute, we'll just use Claire as the arbiter, I want to say, the moderator in terms of what we put there.
The only thing I'll say on social media, and this is just something that I remember from back in the day, is there's no point trying to be in all areas, because let's do one channel and do it well. So I'd rather focus on like Twitter and then LinkedIn if that has the demand for it, rather than Facebook this and that and then just duplicating the same content across all three. So I think we should focus on one and then potentially move on to another if the demand's calling for it.
Okay.
A/B testing.
Yeah, and as I said, this is something that we can continually review every time we have a meet-up. We can just do a couple of couple of minutes on how it's going, what our numbers are telling us, and yeah, absolutely. And I'll make that so that's publicly available as a dashboard that everyone can see and play about with to try and influence the numbers while they're sat in front of me. Okay, Stuart, what do you think we should line up that Q&A if anyone wants it? Our prime lightning speaker. You always have something to lightning talk on.
Okay.
Yes. Round of applause. Thank you, John.
Hello, everyone. So we all try and make our software a little bit less rubbish, but it can often be hard to tell whether we're actually succeeding at that, or how much of a difference we're really making to that. And to that end, our whole team in producing software, not just the testers, but get your devs on board, get your product people on board, everyone, and be scientific. And I think Simon's got a fantastic example here of using numbers and data to assess the quality of your group. But the same is dead true of your product or your software or your application, whatever it may be. If you don't know what it's doing at the moment, it's very difficult to show that you're making it better. So yeah, data-driven decisions. Get your data and use that to drive what you do next, and whether it's worth doing or not, whether it's worked well or not, and try and get a bit scientific, I think, is something that I've taken on recently, because I wasn't very scientific in the past. Pardon? Oh no! Oh, I'll go sit down. Yes. All right. Anyway, yeah. Any questions? What was the point of that? I don't know.
That's great, John.
All right.
Simon's just giving me the nod and the wink, which means pad for time, pad for time.
No, not necessarily. If padding for time means it takes longer to get to the pub, then...
I could talk really slowly. So I was lucky I was away for the election. I went abroad. But when Simon was stood on the figures, then I realised that I missed the whole Jon Snow piece stood in front of the swingometer. I'm so glad I was away for it. So I've got a question. Well, Simon's asking about engagement. An idea that's sort of been buzzing around in my head for a while. How would you guys like us to run some sort of open day or some sort of unconference? Or I'm trying to shy away from the word of using a conference, because those tend to be very broadcast, where a number of speakers stand up on stage and just fire stuff at you. You get death by PowerPoint all day long with some sort of miniature food usually in the middle of the day, maybe some beers if we find sponsorship. So rather than having a traditional conference, have more of an unconference or some type of open space event where we will have, to use the phrase, thought leaders and subject matter experts, and maybe we would have some product vendors come in and show some of the products like Richard touched on earlier, some load testing products and things like that. What would be the interest in us running a day like that? Would you be interested in attending something like that? Okay, so let's really put you to the test now. Would you be interested in attending that if it was free? Let's see a show of hands. Yeah, and this would be in work time. This would be during the week, not a weekend thing. So you're still interested during work time, but free, yeah? Okay. What if it was at the weekend and free? Slightly more, okay. What if you had to pay for it? What if you had to pay, I don't know, 50 English pounds for it? Would you still attend?
It really depends on what's on offer.
Yeah. Okay, so there's definitely some interest there, because normally as soon as you mention money, people they're out of there. But so in terms of having an event, you'd want it on a weekend more than during the week. Is that what I'm picking up on? Yeah. 50-50, not so sure. Some of you are like, any opportunity to get out of work. Okay. An evening event. Yeah? Evening event? Raise your hands for an evening event.
Like this?
No, different to this. You can still have beer and pizza.
I can do evening during the week.
Yeah?
Weekend is more tricky for me.
Okay. So weekends is really bad for me. In fact, evenings is bad for me. So when I get home, I'm going to find 2 kids in bed and a miserable wife. So evenings isn't great for me. What am I saying? She's always miserable. So, no, I take it back. The kids will be up, she'll be in bed. All right, so we've got some interest in having an unconference event, yet to be determined. Probably not during a work day. That didn't seem to be... You don't mind paying for it, depending on what the content is. Yeah, so far. And it seems that evenings is better than during the day. Is that right? 1 or 2 people shaking their head. No, I'm married too, she says.
But there are a lot of people that aren't here as well.
And there are, what did you say, 380 people?
Yeah, in the mix-up group.
Yeah, so there's a 320-ish people not here as well. Okay, but what I'll do is I'll formulate the idea a little bit better than me just spitballing, as the American people say. And I'll put something together and I'll put it out and I'll allow you guys to vote on it and we'll hone it and we'll put it into some sort of shape. The sort of thing I'm thinking about is it would be having sort of big name testers here. There's the sorts of people that you see doing the blog. So I know we've had Mr. Bolton, and we've got people like James Lindsay. We've got the Evil Tester guys. So we can drag I can massage my network and drag a few people up from down south, bring them up to the smoke. So we can get some big names in, but also to mix the content up. I was thinking possibly get some vendors in to actually give you hands-on demo of their tools as well. Because when you do it in work and they come in and they say, yeah, our product absolutely does this, and our product will take all the pain out of your testing, and what you really need is our big gold standard product. And then the first time you get to use it is after you've signed a check and paid for it. So if you get in an environment where it's open and you can ask questions and don't feel pressured about sales and actually see the thing for real, then that can be a bit more useful than having a sales pitch at your office.